that he has done, everything that he has destroyed, lives that he destroyed. I'm just kind of curious. Oh, yeah. You know why they would support Fauci? Because of the demonic spirit. The demonic spirit that reside in these people are completely fine with it. Now, I do have a few clips I want to share with you, but I'm going to end up talking about this socialism because the socialism, they're burning the house down. The Demoncrats, they're in trouble, not from Republicans either. And be honest with you, I wish Republicans would go ahead and just help and emphasize what's happening. But for the most part, Republicans are just sitting back and watching and laughing at them. But I wish the Republicans would just kind of elevate it so more and more people will see what's happening, because the Democrats are going to keep this out of sight, out of mind as much as possible, that the socialists are taking over the Democrat Party. They're going to keep it out of sight as much as possible. But anyways, let me talk about this really quick. We got Dr. Evil Fauci, where, of course, you got the Democrats and got Abby even defending Fauci, of course, right? Because of that demonic spirit. Every socialist Democrat right now is defending. And be honest with you, all of them are socialist Democrats. They just don't like the ones that are actually out in the open calling themselves socialists, because it's going to be a problem for people. But they're all socialist Democrats. But Abby is defending it. And they even have some of these others on the panel on CNN defending this nonsense.
Let me ask you a question. Can you be a little bit more specific about what you think Fauci did and said that was so wrong, that based on what we knew at the time?
Let me ask y'all a question. Where was Abby during that time? Where was she at? Everything that he was pushing, you got to mask up. You got to have your papers. All of this stuff was happening because of Fauci, and she doesn't remember? People during that time was not buying the crap from Fauci, and we're still saying we don't buy the crap from Fauci. So now she's giving a pass. Well, at the time, what do you mean at the time? If at the time we were all getting duped, and many of us kept saying, this is not right.
That you should hold him accountable for every bad thing that happened during COVID as a result of the virus and lockdown.
So the diaries are quite illuminating, because he was writing one thing at the same time that he was saying something very different publicly. He was extremely dismissive, for instance, of the origin of COVID. At the same time that he was saying, I don't think this is from the wet market. That's just one example.
So, okay.
Well, he went further than that, right?
What do you mean? About? Like, about what? Exactly what was Fauci talking about? About what in his diary? Everything. Dude got rich off of people leaving the earth permanently. Dude got rich off of that. And she goes, about what? Exactly about what? Defending Fauci to the end, because, it's in Fauci they trust. And they don't have any issues telling everybody that they trust Fauci. Fauci is another demonic demon and 100% evil, pure evil. And of course, they don't like you talking about Fauci that way. And they all got right behind Fauci. I showed the video right there in the beginning. I showed the video right there in the beginning of the show where all of them were like, Fauci, Fauci, Fauci. They were said people would not die because of what Fauci and the rest of them were pushing. Drug dealers in real time.
So, Dr. Edson, obviously there are a lot of questions about COVID-19. Did you find any of this enlightening? Questions or lack of answers?
Well, look, in reality, right, public service and public servants should be respected. Everyone who was in that hearing and meeting room. But what's happened is this is an assault on science and scientists. And unfortunately...
How was this an assault on science and scientists? And I got to ask y'all this question. I have to ask this question, right? Oh, I don't have it set up. I have to ask you this question. When it comes to the science and the scientists, is science a confirmed thing, or is science something that we all have come to realize that science is just information that we receive, and science could be something that can change? Or is science only whatever they say it is, and that's confirmed in stone, no matter what else? See, to my understanding, science is the study of something and to try to figure it out. And then sometimes science can change, right? Is that how you see it? I mean, that's how I was taught when I was in school. Science is the observation of things, material, just atmosphere, just the science is the observation of things, and you study it. Now, when you get that observation, looking through a telescope, microscope, what have you, sometimes things change. Science is the observation and study, but they want people to believe that science is the begin of all and the end of all, and you cannot question the science. That's what they were kept pushing. You can't question the science. And for anyone who wanted to question the science, then you were a denier. And whatever it is that they were pushing, you were denying everything that they were pushing. And they kept telling everybody. Let me play the rest of this. Listen.
Should be respected. Everyone who was in that hearing and meeting room. But what's happened is this is an assault on science and scientists. And unfortunately, Dr. Fauci is in that seat. 38 years of service to the country, one of the best known scientists for infectious disease, unfortunately has taken a lot of heat for probably a lot of, shall we say, issues that were not fully his. He didn't make all the decisions that drove the COVID pandemic, but you are right that he is one of the most respected scientists and should be respected in that same sort of way. Today, we certainly didn't learn anything from the way the hearing was held.
Well, see, the problem with his statement there is that everybody kept referring to Fauci. Fauci was the face of science for the Demoncrats. Remember, they kept, even Fauci himself kept saying that he is science. And if you deny him, you're denying science. Dude is pure evil. I don't think anyone can disagree with it. When he made that statement, he was acting like his name should be in the dictionary or any documentation. When it talks about science, it needs to say science of Fauci. And then whatever the subject is, then you can talk about it. But you had to include Fauci into the science, according to them. And they keep fighting for Fauci, even though they know what he did was wrong. They go after people who said stuff 20, 30 years ago. Remember, they went after Brett Kavanaugh because he allegedly said something, or they went after President Trump because he said something. But when Fauci said something and people are no longer with us, family members are gone, they all of a sudden grow amnesia that they did that, and they defend Fauci for all of the corruption that they did. This is a spiritual battle. That's the only explanation for this. Someone wrong, he blatantly does something wrong and they give a pass for it. Who does that? I can't stand it to no end. It is sickening. These people are repulsive. They do it with, it's not even just Fauci, they do it with all criminals. Every single criminal. You don't even have to be an American citizen. You could be an external criminal. It doesn't matter. If you're a criminal, they are defending you. This is truly a battle between good and evil. And I have to say this, the left, the Demoncrats, the Socialists, they are on the side of pure evilness. People are doing blatant wrong stuff and they support them. Blatantly.
This was intentional today to be about political theater. Let's just put that on the table, Number one. Number two, I think people forget, one, Donald Trump was the president. Mm-hmm. And while Fauci was trying to save us, Trump was trying to grave us.
Are you hearing this? And actually, it was just the opposite of that. They got a little catchphrase. And I tell you, I guarantee it right now, without me even seeing it, they're going to take that little catchphrase, what he just said, And all of the liberals are going to be posting that everywhere. They're probably even more than likely going to even make T-shirts out of it. Let me take it back so you can hear exactly what he said. For those of you that just missed that, listen to it. Because I'm telling you right now, without me even seeing anyone do it, they're going to take that little catchphrase and they're going to plaster it everywhere in support of Fauci. Listen.
While Fauci was trying to save us, Trump was trying to grave us, telling people to drink bleach.
And he didn't say that.
Didn't happen. That
He
didn't happen.
never.
And I know that that's
hold on. I'm glad the other guy's on the panel, but I have to interject on this. President Trump never said that. He never told anyone to drink bleach. He's never said that. And Abby is sitting there, and Abby is not even trying to correct this dude. No, he never said that. Can we get a fact check in real time? Nope, not on CNN. Abby is just sitting there silent because that's what she wanted. And this dude just went on national television and lied. President Trump said, is there something, because they found out that bleach was killing it. And President Trump said, can we do something like that in the medical field? And I'm paraphrasing it here. Can we do something like that in the medical field that we can give to people that would help them? He not a single time did he ever tell anyone to drink bleach.
And when people like to intentionally take out context, it didn't happen. Yes, I'm telling you the president did not tell you to drink
we have tape to prove it.
I'm telling you with a matter of fact, and everyone knows that the president didn't tell you to drink bleach.
I'm telling you otherwise. Then
you're wrong. You're wrong on that. I'm sorry, you're wrong on that.
Let me finish one point. As an African American.
And now, okay, since he just got called out on the blatant lie that he just told about President Trump telling people to drink bleach when he's never done that, now this dude goes right back to the playbook. Black people. Oh, it's all about black people. Black people, they're the ones that's really devastated about all of this. Not white people, not Asian people, not Hispanic people, but black people. Listen to them. See, they do this every time. They start losing the argument. Interject the race card. Watch.
Let me finish one point. As an African American sitting at this table, when America had a cough during that COVID-19 pandemic, Black America had the flu. We were dying at clips that no other constituency, another race were dying. So we took this pandemic very serious, and everyone took it seriously. We need to be in a position to.
Why is it that black people are always the ones that's the most victims out of everything? I'm so sick of that. No matter what, black people were the biggest victims, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're the victims. You name it. It's the problem. We're the biggest victims out of all of it. I'm so sick of that ignorance. This bug didn't care who or your status. It didn't care. One thing they found out that it didn't affect children the way it did adults. And they're only saying that it was affecting black people because of the health conditions that black people put themselves in. No one white forced them to eat that hog maw. No one white that forced them to eat those chitlins. No one white forced them to drink that beer. No one white forced them to take the extra piece of pie. No one white forced them to eat that greasy, running down your chin chicken. No one white forced them to eat it. No one told them that they could not go and make a walk around the block. If anybody had issues because of their color, it's because of their lifestyle. Unless you're saying China did something to purposely select black people, then we have a different story. Then we have a different thing going on. And it might be in there. I mean, I've heard stories and rumors how Chinese people feel about black people. I've heard stories. I don't know that it's true because I've met plenty of Chinese people when I lived in California, and they've always just treated me like another person. So I don't know. Maybe they just did it because they were standing in front of me. But it's always come down to black people being the biggest victims, no matter what it is, and I'm totally sick of it.
where when things like this happen, that we don't press the ignore button and act.
In other words,
we need to believe science when it comes to having.
I think Fauci saying one thing.
Science does not need to plead the fifth 111 times. It does not need.
When the chair of the hearing, the senator, has said repeatedly that he wants to put you behind bars. It is a prudent thing to do.
Out of nowhere?
To take
you
the
can
fifth.
choose not to commit a crime.
Hold on 1 second.
I don't know about
Lydia.
You know what? And they were purposely putting people behind bars because they would not wear a mask, because they would not comply. People were getting arrested. Churches, pastors were getting arrested. And all of this because of Fauci. All of it happened because of Fauci. And now they want to, for the most part, ignore what Fauci wrote into his diary. Like now they actually have tangible proof where Fauci was saying all of this stuff in the public, but he was writing down. Can y'all hear that? This is how I actually feel about everything that I've been saying. And it's not what I've been saying on the national television. And hopefully no one will ever see this diary. And then it comes out and then they defend it still. They should be upset with him just as much as we are. They should say, dude, you lied to us. We were on your side and you lied to us. But they don't do that. They don't do that. It's because these people hate humanity. They hate Americans. Now, there's this whole thing. It's like a rumor. You know, a lot of people say it's like rumored that there's a leftist organization on the planet that thinks the planet has too many people on it. Have y'all heard of that before? They believe too many people on the planet. They really do. But Jake the Snake, one of the biggest, him, Chris Cuomo, they're like all buddies with Fauci. They loved Fauci. I remember when Chris Cuomo during that time, Chris Cuomo stayed in his basement. Remember he pulled that stunt? He went to his basement and he was down. I forget how long he was down there. It's not important. But he was down there and he would go live from his basement. Yeah, I'm stuck in my basement and everybody else is upstairs. Now, when he probably turned the camera off and everything, he probably just turned everything off and walked upstairs. I don't know. I wasn't there. No one was showing up to his house because they told everyone to stay in your home, stay indoors. Remember during that time? But listen to Jake the Snake talking about Fauci.
I think Republicans were going for here was that Fauci was saying things publicly that didn't necessarily line up with what he was thinking or saying privately. Some of Fauci's private diary entries seem to contradict his previous public statements. For example, in a March 2020 entry, Fauci recalls a conversation he had with then New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. Fauci wrote, quote, "I spoke with Bill de Blasio and convinced him based on what I was saying publicly in my conversation tonight to close the New York City schools. He had already decided based on what I was saying on TV," unquote. Fauci also wrote about a similar call he had with Gavin Newsom's chief of staff, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California.
So what happened to all of our children? Imagine the kids that were, and I'll never forget this. Some of the kids that had graduation, they didn't even get to experience graduation. Didn't even get to experience it. You know, because they were waiting. They were like, yes, valedictorian, and they're going to be able to do their speech. They're going to be able to walk across the stage, get their diploma, throw their hat up in the air, get to celebrate it. Like many children, millions of children before them. And it all got squashed because they closed down the schools. Over in Europe, they were saying that, yeah, it's not, kids seem to be okay. Kids are just bouncing around, flying around, snotty-nosed kids. They're fine. But here, they listened to Fauci and they shut the schools down. And now they're all trying to say, no, Fauci never said that. Fauci never said shut the schools down, but he said it in his diary that, hey, he was telling the public to shut them down, but in his diary, no, don't need to. But they did it anyways. Remember when this nut job was still on CNN? Listen to them talking about this.
Dr. Anthony Fauci tells National Geographic that the evidence is very, very strongly leaning towards this could not have been artificially or deliberately manipulated. Everything about the stepwise evolution over time strongly indicates that this virus evolved in nature and then jumped species.
From the weight of the scientific evidence, and I think Dr. Fauci, whom I consider the real authoritative voice here, kind of reaffirmed that it was natural, and most likely scenario is it occurred from bats in the marketplace.
And they allowed this story, this rumor, to go on all of this time, and they're even defending it today. They're still defending it today. They lied about where it came from. And I remember I got in an argument with people saying that they were trying to convince me that it was a bat from a meat market. And come to find out, it wasn't from a meat market. It's not me saying this. This is what they've been saying up on Capitol Hill. This is what they found out when they were drilling him, gain of function. Why is it that these people get to walk free like this? I mean, they get us for everything. They get us on everything. We get, it's so bad that Fauci, he's done so much evilness and getting away with it thus far, to where if he got a parking ticket, and we're like, what is this? A parking ticket? What are you talking about? A parking ticket? Like, a parking ticket is the lowest thing that he can get compared to what is lower than a parking ticket? A warning? They'll never give him a parking ticket. They'll never give him a warning. Or if he got a parking ticket, I'll get rid of that. They'll make it go away. This dude did so much damage, not just to the United States of America, but to the world. And he says, just make it go away. Make it go away. And think about all of the kids. Think about all of the kids for those 2 years that did not get to experience their graduation. Imagine. Just hurt. Didn't get to prom, none of that. Because of Fauci.
I think it would have been great for Americans to actually hear why Anthony Fauci made the decisions he made, like, for instance, on schools. Because in the last great pandemic in America in 1919, it was young people who were disproportionately killed by the virus. You've seen all of those pictures of our troops coming back from World War II, lying in warehouses, basically dying. News reports from 1919 that the super spreaders with that virus were schools.
So they took that and they ran with it. And Fauci knew good and well, it's in his diary, that didn't have to shut the schools down. But he still did it. Still did it. We'll be right back.
Remember when you were younger and you used to hear stories, whether it be in Greek mythology or whatever, about the fountain of youth, people constantly looking for something out there that would help them live forever or live longer? Well, kind of got something like that with Fatty 15, and it's not mythological. No, Fatty 15, this is an empty jar right here, but that's your size that you get. That's a 1 month supply. You get a 3 month supply on this deal. Fatty 15 contains something called C15. If you don't know what that is, it's an essential fatty acid. that is necessary for your body's cellular generation, meaning that if you have any damaged cells, it will repair them. It'll also change the way your cells age and you will live longer. C15 does exactly that. Again, if you don't know what C15 is, definitely do some research, but it's Fatty 15. And in each and every one of these capsules that you get in Fatty 15, you're going to elevate your cells, you are going to repair your cells, and you're going to live longer. That's what it does. It slows down your aging process for healthier hair, healthier skin, balanced metabolism, deeper sleep, and 3 times more cellular benefits than omega-3 fish oils. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. Save 15% now. That's fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. Thank you very much. Back to the program.
The Democratic Socialists of America recently released their new platform. One of the things in that platform is to abolish the Senate and create a new unicameral House in Congress. Is this something Democratic Socialist candidates have been winning in races across the country? Is this something that has a place, this type of policy position in the Democratic
Bottom line is...
Hold on. He's getting asked the question about these demonic Demoncrat socialists taking over his party. They're the ones running everything. And that's what he's getting asked here. He's not getting asked about, anything else. That's the question here. But listen to how he responds. Because, look at him. Look, he got the smirk on his face because he doesn't want to be talking about this. He doesn't want this to be on the forefront. He want to talk about how we can stop Trump, how we can get Trump. Look at his board even. Look, has Trump name on it. CNN at the top. Oh, this is a CNN poll. Like you can trust those polls. But that's what he wants to talk about. He wants to talk about Trump, not what's happening to the collapse of the Democrat Party.
Country. Is this something that has a place, this type of policy position in the Democratic
Bottom line is Democrats from one end of the spectrum to the other are going to be working to defeat Trump, to bring down costs, to go after his corruption, and to end the chaos.
See, that's the point. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He doesn't want to address it. Like, he's kind of hoping that it would just, go away. It's not going to go away. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want it to go away. Now, look, I don't want the socialists to take over. But as I mentioned multiple times before, the Demoncrats are nothing but a bunch of socialists themselves. They have been pushing this socialist agenda all this time. They've been pushing the socialist agenda. Every single time. It's not that all of a sudden out the blue, because Mamdani becomes the mayor of New York, that they all have just, oh, look here. Look here. Now we can be socialists. No, they've been socialists all this time. There's nothing new that's been coming about. This is how I see it. They have tried to do everything to try to get people to join their side. And they had it in their minds that if they can convince everybody to believe that President Trump was wrong for the American people, that the MAGA extremists, how Hakeem constantly refers to us, the MAGA extremists, that if they can constantly do that, they will convince people to believe that it was wrong to support President Trump, but they couldn't do it. And they noticed that they started losing support. A lot of black people stopped supporting the Democrat Party, especially because they've gone so woke. They stopped doing it. Said, I can't do it. Now, look, there's still a lot of them that's doing it. There's still a lot of white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, people of all spectrum. They're still supporting the Democrat Party because it's like they don't know any better, or they just hate Trump so much they just can't, this demonic spirit. I don't know way I can explain it. But if they don't get this under wrap, they're going to be done as just the Demoncrat Party. They're going to be straight up the Socialist Democrat Party. And majority of the people in the country don't want socialism. I don't care how much. And see, they're concerned about all the independents and all of the Democrats that are on the left. that can still have the opportunity to slide away. That's what they're concerned about. Any Democrats that can slide away from them. That's their biggest concern. Hey, let me say thank you to Razmi on Rumble, the LFA channel. Rumble, thank you so much for the Rumble rant. I saw it earlier, and before I forget, let me give you the beautiful flags. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I didn't forget you. I want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge you, and thank you so much for the blessing. Thank you so much. And actually, someone gave me a heart on TikTok. Let me give you some flowers, okay? They gave me a beautiful heart on TikTok. I'm not sure if TikTok is going to allow me to continue doing the lives because I keep showing what these evil people are doing, which I don't understand. I'm just doing commentary. Nothing else shown is copywritten, right? Like this one here. If the Demoncrats get what they want, this midterm election, they're going to do exactly what Nancy Pelosi in this clip is talking about.
Makes a big difference.
That would take 2/3 in the Senate. You think the Democrats can get 2/3 in the Senate?
No, it doesn't get 2/3. No, it doesn't. I mean, 60 votes is the Senate now, but if we win 50 plus 1 in the Senate, 50 plus the vice president, we can overturn the 60 vote rule.
The filibuster
and pass it with a 51 vote margin. And that's what we need to do.
That's it right there. That's it right there. They want to do away with the filibuster. What is Thune doing? And Thune, he was on with Sean Hannity. And they brought up the filibuster. And he says there's many Republicans that don't want to do away with the filibuster. It's like they're saying, we don't want to be the ones to do away with it. Let's allow the Demoncrats to be the one to do away with the filibuster. So then that way they can implement the tyranny onto the American people. This is the reason why I couldn't stand Republicans, because of these rhinocrats just like this. These are different times. These are not like this is not like it was when we were children, when the Democrats and the rhinocrats controlled every aspect of the federal government and they had the appearance that they were getting along. Because for the most part they were, because they were all establishment. They said, oh, this is how we do it. This is how we run the game. This is how we participate in all of this. This is how we do it. But the Democrats, they're in struggle with one another. They're fighting with one another. And even Bernie Sanders is responding to what John Fetterman said. John Fetterman, after his medical issue, he's the only one that is talking with common sense. He's the only one talking with common sense. Wow. I just saw that one. Let me play this and I'll come back to it. Listen to this. Listen.
John Fetterman, your colleague in the Senate that you caucus with, said that he believes Abdul El-Sayed's candidacy and your involvement in these primaries is actually hurting the Democratic Party. This is what he said.
It means that puts that seat really in play. Absolutely. And that if he wins, that means there'd be a celebration over the GOP, 100%.
Is Bernie making it harder for Democrats to recapture the majority?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, what's he out on it? Well, what's in it for him? You know, if it's not anything more at this point, ego. You know, maybe sit a few out, Bernie. You know, it's you're not helping.
Well, the last poll that I saw in Pennsylvania, not a whole lot of Democrats think that he is representing them. And as you know, there's some question whether or not he flips and becomes a Republican. So I would not put too much credibility in what.
You hear that? He's saying that he suspects John Fetterman is going to become a Republican. So essentially, this is what I'm hearing. And y'all let me know in the chat. And let me say this really quick to the Punisher. Thank you so much. Beautiful flags for you. Thank you so much to the Punisher. on YouTube. Thank you so much. What I'm hearing from Bernie Sanders, this is what I'm hearing, that once you become like John Fetterman and start talking common sense, you're expected to become a Republican. Because that's the whole thing with John Fetterman, what he's talking about. He's talking about these people have on the crazy pants. This is what John Fetterman is saying, and I quote, end quote, right? John Fetterman is saying that. I don't disagree with him, but John Fetterman is the one that's saying it. So if you have common sense, you're more than likely a Republican. This is what Bernie Sanders just said. I mean, let me just play this part again. Listen.
You know, maybe sit a few out, Bernie. You know, it's you're not helping.
Well, the last poll that I saw in Pennsylvania, not a whole lot of Democrats think that he is representing them. And as you know, there's some question whether or not he flips and becomes a Republican. So I would not put too much credibility in what somebody like Fetterman says.
He said you should sit this out.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
So you think I should take his advice? I probably won't. But John, not going to take your advice. We're going to work as hard as we can, not only to elect El Sayed, but Peggy Flanagan in Minnesota, and strong congressional candidates all over this country who have the guts to start taking on big money.
All of the socialists. Yeah, he told him, Bernie, sit this one out. Bernie's not going to sit this out. Bernie, he's never been this close. He's never been this close to getting the socialists to have this much control in the federal government. His entire career, he's been pushing this all of this time. In his entire career, he's never been this close to get to this point. And yep, here he is. Here he is. And now he's like, yes, I'm not going to give up now. For them, Graham Plattner with the tattoo on his chest, that's just he said he doesn't even regret supporting Graham Plattner. You know, for them, that was just a hiccup. It was just a bump in the road. You notice the liberal media, they don't even talk about Graham Plattner anymore. They don't have nothing to say about him. They were all backing Graham Plattner, every last one of them. Well, there's an exception of a few, of course. But they were backing him. But now he's got the boop, field goal. He's gone. And then they just selected somebody else to fill the position. They just selected somebody else to fill the position. And after doing that, they're like, oh, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. Here's somebody who Bernie Sanders is supporting, a communist. Now, I'm not going to play all of this. This woman had put out multiple tweets, multiple posts, calling for the police department to be defunded. And I'm pretty sure she said I should be defunded as well. But she's asked the question because she's running for governor. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Wisconsin. If I'm not mistaken, don't hold me to it. But she's running for governor nonetheless. And she's asked the question. No one's asking anybody. Okay. Ask. She was asked the question about her statements about the police department. And of course, because she's all in the limelight, that's the only reason why I'm talking about her. She's trying to flip the script, and now she's trying to say it's Republicans that's wanting to defund the police. How stupid can you be?
You once tweeted about defunding the police, and tonight you were asked whether you would sign that bill to defund the police, and you said no.
If anyone's been defunding the police, it's been Robin Voss and the Republicans who have not been adequately funding shared revenue. And you have seen that local governments have had to make very difficult decisions. And I believe that as governor, that we want to make sure that we're prioritizing public safety. And I believe that, those types of bills that could include more investment in the things that we know prevent crime. If you want to be tough on crime, you better be tough on the causes.
Why do you believe?
I mean, really? You gotta be tough on the causes. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, the cause for a lot of this stuff we're seeing is generated by the left. You don't do cashless bails for criminal and then tell them, don't do it again. Okay, don't do that again. Hardcore criminals, don't do it again. What do you think they're going to do? You just like this, and you let them back out? Oh, this wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. They're going to do it again. But this time, I'm not going to get caught to get the... In some cases, in New York and other places, 13, 17 times? And it's just like this over and over and over. It's like on a cycle. But then the police department, if they get a police officer that they have deemed to have done something wrong when a police officer is just doing his or her job, they want to put that police officer under the jail cell forever. And forever. Never to be seen again. But the actual criminal, they'll even build statues for the actual criminal. Imagine how that works. Imagine how that works. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Democratic incumbents, as you well know, have been defeated by very progressive candidates, some with ties to Democratic Socialists of America, and many of whom hold positions outside the party's traditional mainstream. So how do you handle this division within the party? Because it seems to me as an outsider that the more progressive wing is in many cases generating more excitement.
Oh. And of course, she doesn't want to refer to them as the socialist radical wing, the more progressive. That's all it is. Okay, so you mean it's just all this time they've just been progressive? And Kelly, the one that was telling people in the military not to follow the directions or orders from the commander in chief, this one, he's not happy. He's not happy at all with these radical socialists trying to take over his party. He's not happy at all. I mean, they dealt this, though. They did this to themselves. But listen to him. He's not happy.
Than sort of traditional centrist Democrats like yourself.
Well, I think things are so bad for a lot of people. Right now, the top 1% owns as much of this country as the middle class. I don't think it's been that way for a long, long time, if ever. And,
listen,
as I said earlier, just people can't afford to have a reasonable standard of living.
So do you think that does that translate into them wanting to burn the house down?
I think it leads to.
That's the catcher right there. See, that caught my ear when I heard that. It's not the Republicans trying to do that. It is straight up the Demoncrats, these socialists. And guess whose house it is? It's the Demoncrat house. I'm telling you, and he's not happy about it. Listen to this last statement. There's only a couple of seconds left in this.
Incredible frustration with the status quo, and people want to see change, and they want to throw out the person who's, in office and replace them with anybody, because that the incumbents aren't improving their lives.
Who's he talking about? He's talking about the Demoncrats. He's saying that the incumbents, which the socialists are winning out against the establishment incumbents. That's who he's referring to. He's not talking about Republicans because he doesn't care about Republicans. They just want to retain their power. They want the same status quo. That's all that they want. He's not happy about it. James Carville, he's not happy about it. He's so mad right now. It's almost to the point where he's gonna cure his own TDS problem that he loves having. And I look forward to it. Can you imagine if James Carville came out? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? It's the guy that looked like a little turtle. You know, he's always cursing. He loves his TDS. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? He's constantly doing that. Well, James Carville is not happy. So if he ever came out and did a video, and if he just for 1 second, if he goes, you know, maybe this might be the light bulb moment for him. This just comes on. If he comes out and says, you know, I was wrong. And the reason why it can happen, You know why I say it can happen? Because it happened with Leo Terrell, Leo 2.0. I used to watch him when he would go on with Hannity and Combs. I remember that. He would go on with Hannity and Combs. I would see that. Hannity and Combs. I would see him on there. And he would get on there. He would just get so angry with Sean Hannity. Just angry. Sometimes he'd just get up and walk off the set. And I think he would go on with Bill O'Reilly during that time too. So I'm kind of going way back. And he gets so angry, get up and walk off the set because he didn't like what they were saying. But now today, Leo Terrell completely changed, completely different. And now the light bulb came on. And now he's like, oh my goodness. You know who I'm talking about. So it could happen. It could happen. And if it did, they're going to turn on him like no tomorrow. Same thing they did to Terrell. Same thing they did to me. Same thing they're doing to me. They're so mad at me right now. Oh my goodness. And you know what? I normally don't wear this shirt, but I have this shirt on. I stand with Israel. Can y'all see it? Can y'all see it? Let me do this really quick. Can y'all see it? I stand with Israel. You see that? Got my MAGA hat on, and I stand with Israel. I took a picture and I'm going to post it here in a little bit. I can only imagine the woke right and the woke left, the progressive, all of them. I'm going to get attacked like no tomorrow on social media. Thick skin, thick skin, thick skin. All right. Well, that's it from me. The time was really short. I do apologize. Out of my control. But coming up next right here on LFA TV, Kevin Smith, Loud Majority. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere. And I will see you tomorrow on the Culture Wars. And hey, let me say God bless you. For all of you that have not done it as of yet, please, please, please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up. God bless everybody. I will see you tomorrow in the Culture Wars.